Make a careful exploration of who you are and the work you've been given, and then sink yourself into that. Don't be impressed with yourself. Don't compare yourself to others.
I tell my girls, and I say this on the podcast all the time, that they were created on purpose and for a purpose. And they truly are. I mean, I know that God has made them for a reason, and that there is work to do on this earth, just like me, just like the two of you. God has given us all a purpose. So talk about that. How do we prepare our girls to understand and really take to heart that concept and truth that they are here for a purpose?
Well, Tricia has some great stories. Yeah, but I just have to start with this one verse that I've always loved in Galatians about, this is in a contemporary version, but it says, make a careful exploration of who you are and the work you've been given, and then sink yourself into that. Don't be impressed with yourself. Don't compare yourself to others. Each of us must take responsibility for doing the creative best with the work you've been given. And that's what we want all young women to be able to launch from there.
And I think it's so important with our girls and with our boys too, but just see what they're good at and like call that out and let them know. I love Kathy Cook's book, The 8 Great Smarts. Are you a people person? Are you a logic person? Like, God created you for a purpose. Psalm 139. He knew you. He knit you together in your mother's womb, and he has plans for you. So even when our oldest daughter, who's 30 now, when she was little, she loved missionary stories. She'd want to hear them. She's would make a friend on the playground every time she went. She was very evangelistic. In high school, she would share Christ with the people that she's serving with at Wendy's restaurant. Like, she's just so we really talked about, like, I think God has a plan for you. And she, talked about, I want to be a missionary. And so God just led us to do mission trips in the Czech Republic. The people there said, Leslie, you need to come. You need to live here. Like, people are drawn to you. You have such a natural way of connecting with them. And so she graduated. She had her bachelor's at 20 and moved to the Czech Republic. Like, God provided every penny for her to be there. But she knew when she was going that in the Czech Republic, they have less than 1% of Christians.
Yeah.
So it's post-communist, a postmodern society. Very few Christians are there. And so she prayed and she's like, Lord, I know I probably will never get married, but I'm willing to go for you. And really just going into a country that doesn't have hardly any Christians, let alone Christian young men. And so for years, she served God. She worked with youth groups. She just all these things. And then she met Hansa, there was like 2 Christian churches in town, and she worked at one, he worked at the other. They both worked with the youth. They became friends first, and later they got married. But it was like she was doing what God called her to do, not even saying like, okay, I'm going to go here because there's a lot of Christian guys and surely I'm going to find one. But she was willing to like give that up. And she just thought for sure when she was moving there that she would probably never get married, but this is what God called her to. But when she was a little girl, I pointed that out, like, you have such a wonderful way of sharing Christ with people and making friends and really seeing people and listening to them. And she saw that. And with my girls today, I'll call out different things that I see is important in what they're doing and how God has gifted them uniquely than other people or their siblings. And that really lets them see that there is a purpose and God has a plan. And the amazing thing is Leslie in the Czech Republic got married in a cathedral.
Wow.
Like this amazing, beautiful cathedral. And I'm just sitting there like, God, you knew this. When she was there, like, I'm just going to go be a missionary. I'm probably never going to get married. And then at the reception, I speak English. His parents speak Czech, but I had someone translate with his mom. And I'm like, I just want you to know that I've been praying for your son ever since she was a tiny, tiny baby. We can't even speak the same language. And she started crying. She was like, and I've been praying for your daughter ever since Hansa. And so these are on the opposite sides of the world.
Wow.
We're praying for our children. And his family is from a Christian family. They have planted churches all around the Czech Republic. They've stayed Christians during Nazi times and communist times. And it's like, God knew that. And so just encourage our daughters, like, I see these gifts in you. I see he has a good plan for you. We don't know exactly how that's going to be, but because you love doing this, he's going to use that. It's not like God's going to make you do something that you hate, that you don't want to wake up and do, but see how he's already gifting you and he has a plan for those things.
Yeah. He is so faithful. And again, because this is homeschool podcast, you know, I can't help but just think like this is one of the greatest advantages of homeschooling, because when our kids are sitting in a classroom boxed in for 40 hours a week, being forced to learn a certain way, they don't always not that God can't use them or won't use them. That's not the thing. It's just that they have more of an opportunity to figure out how God created them to be and what he created them to do. And there's so much more time to explore who they really are and what their passions and gifts and talents and abilities are when they're not bogged down with the classroom and with, 4 hours of homework at the end of each day. And so it is such a privilege to be able to walk alongside of our kids and help them to see, because sometimes they can't see it. Sometimes it's so close to them that they can't really see what it is that they're supposed to be doing. And so being able to explore that with our kids and pray through this life with them. I mean, there is truly no greater joy or privilege that I can think of than being able to be a mom or a dad and walk this life with our kids.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.